Keep it up. 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 In this video, I'm going to go over the main template, how you can edit it, and then I'm going to go over the GIF that's here in the middle. Lastly, I'm going to tell you what you can do to test this a little bit for your brand. So here is the February email, and let's go ahead and zoom in. All right, so this is an element that is all the way in the back, and the background has been removed. So when you open it, if the background isn't removed, I went to edit photo and I used the background remover. Here is where you would replace your logo. And then this text here is where you want to use your wording for the promotion or the message that this is specific to. I'll go over the GIF here in a second, but as you can see, this is one GIF that's kind of happening here at the top of this email. All right, here is where you would swap out your product images, and you can change this wording here. So it might not be $49, and you might have a better word like accessories that can go right here, and then expand that out if you need to. So those 4 images can be swapped out. If you want to adjust the placement of the images, double click on it and slide left to right. All right, then we can repeat the messaging here. It's just a little bit smaller text. And then here's where I have room for body text. It's always nice to have some actual text in your email, a few sentences. So I've left room for that here. Maybe it's a little store update, more details on what they can expect when they click on some of these links. A big headline here. And then what I've done is you can change this text as you desire for the price points. And obviously you can change these images as well. I've left space for your footer details and unsubscribe, which is required to be there. All right, let's go ahead and flip to the GIF and let me walk you through that. So you're getting this GIF as well. And with this GIF, we have some words in the back. Let me break this down for you. So the words in the back are on 2 arcs, which is why there's wow, deal of, and then the month is a separate arc. So to edit this, you'll double click and you want just a few characters here. And then on this one, double click and you'll change that if you so desire. All of these are also selected with a transparency. Otherwise, they would look like this, and I felt like maybe it was distracting. So that's totally preferential. And then here, this text has an outline, and I set the thickness all the way high just so it kind of set it apart from what was happening in the background. So once you if you don't want to change this, that's great. If you do want to change the words here, I just showed you how to do that. But what I want to show you is this GIF will play like that. So it's a 5-second GIF. I actually want to change the timing on this, so I'll be right back. Okay, to change the timing on this, what I did was expanded the timeline down here, which would normally show you additional slides. And instead of 5 seconds, I'm going to pull it back to 2 seconds because I want the export to be really small for use in email. So let's try this play again. There we go. That works for me. Okay, so that's going to play, and I'll show you how you're going to piece together this email. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about segments. So let's jump back to the other email or to the template. Okay, so you can test this. And if you don't have segments set up yet, you can listen to the thought process behind this. If you do have segments set up, what you can do is change some of this around. So you'll notice there's basically 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of this email. If you wanted to, you could, once you've got it set up the way you want, I would file, make a copy. And in your Canva, what you can do is maybe you put from here to here, maybe you put all of this first and bump everything else down. And then what you would do with that is look at the click-through rate. So the click-through rate will tell you not only how well this email is performing, but also you can see, well, did people click more when this section was at the top versus this section being at the top? In this example, the way it's set up, this is really the headline, like there's a deal of the month, and maybe your list has been waiting for that information, or even if they haven't, maybe this is the graphic that gets the point across and they're going to click first. But if you don't love the results of that, you could always try moving the sections around as you desire. So for example, maybe you're very engaged. So anyone who's been active on the website in 30 days, maybe they get this version of it. And then maybe people have been active on the site in the last 90 days, but not the last 30 days. Maybe they need more of a reminder of your deals. And you start with this at the top, bump everything else down, and then see how that performs with your 90-day active on your site. So those are just some ideas on how you can take this template and continue to test with your emails and your email segmentation. We are going to go ahead and get this design in Klaviyo. So if you're using another platform, that's okay. This should work in a similar way. I do want to point out a couple of things. So this GIF is going to be separate this GIF is going to be separately uploaded. So you can design yours over here, download it if you like, and then put it back in Canva and plop it into your design. That being said, we're going to just use this download itself when we download it as a GIF and put it into Klaviyo itself. So you choose, maybe you want to really visualize how it's going to come out. And then down here, this room for body text, you can choose to type this in and then you'll put this section in as a photo. I'm going to show you how to put it in as text, and that's actually the way that I prefer. This will be cropped out. It's just a reminder that your footer details will go here. So this will be downloaded on its own, and we will go to share, download, change this to GIF, and we can make this 648 will work for this design, and we'll click download. Then over here in our email template, once you're ready, you're going to click share, download. We're going to use PNG. We are going to go ahead and I usually put this at 1.5. So I designed it at 600, but I'm going to download it at 900 just to make it really crisp. There's three main things we're going to do here. One is we're going to crop our image and put it where it needs to go. Two, we're going to get rid of any unnecessary padding. And three, we're actually going to use as much text as we can instead of only images. So I will show you how to do all of that. Here, I'm going to click on the logo that's already there and click on replace and upload my image. This is not the image that we are going to send. We're not going to send one giant image as the email. What we're going to do is crop where necessary. So I'm going to click edit and crop, move this crop box all the way up. And I believe this is probably going to be around 200. It's actually, that's too big. So I'll use this height to dial it back in. What's great about this is if you put a little doodad that indicates the season, you can reuse this over and over. So I'll click apply and save. Okay, the problem is we have some spacing, too much spacing around it. I'm going to change my logo and link padding. I don't have any links that I'm going to use at this time, but you can. I'm going to change my padding here and here to 0. I do not need a corner radius. And then my padding on the top will be 0 and on the bottom will be 0. Great. So next I'm going to move into this section of my email and we're going to drop a image in here. So with this image, I'm going to do the same thing and it's going to be from our email template. Well, I already know that I want to crop this, and this is where the new cropping tool comes in really handy. So we're going to crop this here, And then I'm going to show you an alternative way to do this. So crop it. I need the slider to come up with me. All right, here we go. Once we get this first crop done, the rest of the crops will be easier. There we go. All right. So I'm going to commit that by telling it done. Okay, done. All right, so we can leave it like that. However, this can really, it's not really has to be, it does not really have to be an image. It could actually be a text block. So I'm going to plot this text block down here, and I'm going to choose the background color. I'm going to choose the block background color. So the block background color, I can go ahead and grab it from Canva. So when I click on this, click on the color, I will copy it and bring it over into this box in Klaviyo. Great. Now I need to change this text. So this is where you would want to use the fonts that you've already installed in your Klaviyo. And I'll bring it to 2 lines. And I know that this is going to be significantly bigger. That's probably going to be too big. Let's start here, make it bold, and the text color will be white. Great. So then this line of text I know actually needs to be a more reasonable size, and maybe it's not going to be bold. So now I can make this limited time only, and this text like that. Okay, so I think I'm going to make this dialed in just a little bit more. This will also be italic. And I'm happy with this. Okay, so instead of using this image, we've actually got some text at the beginning of the email, and that is going to make our deliverability that much better. Okay, actually we don't have to delete this. I'm going to show you what we'll do next. So I have this image here, and if we look at our previous design, which I can just have floating over here on the side, there's our previous design. Okay, so the next thing we want to work on is going to be the GIF. Since I moved that original image down here, I'm actually going to click replace, and I'm going to replace it with the GIF. So I'll upload it. There we go. So GIF is in place. All right, now I want to go ahead and add my next image. So my next image, I'm going to go to Content, Image, and drop it right below there. And in my image library, I'm going to go ahead and use my original big image and crop it again. So I'll drag here. We get to skip the GIF because we've already put that in. And this is going to be the next image that we want. I know that image should be a square, so I could just choose square over here. And that does pretty good for me. All right, so I'll click done. And now we have that plugged in. So what we'll do next is, the next part of this email is another text block. So since we already made that one, we can just duplicate it. And once we've done that, click on it and drag it to the right spot. And we weren't as aggressive with the size of the text on this one, so maybe it's all 20. There we go. All right, so this is coming along. By the way, don't forget to link the appropriate spots where on every image or every text where you want it to go. So next, we're going to work on this text section. Since we cropped this, I know that that big image is actually still associated with this. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to duplicate this and drag it below. Might be easier if I drag this above. There we go. So I don't want this again. So I'm going to crop it, and you can see that whole image still kind of exists. So what I'm going to do is bring this to here, and I'm going to do a custom crop now and crop it at the end of that little doodad. Okay, so if you chose to leave your text, in here, then you would stop at this point and say done, and you left your text right in there. But what I did when I downloaded this is I didn't remove my placeholder there. So what I can do is go back into Canva. Here I am. And in a pinch, I can always screenshot. So I'm going to screenshot this section. So for the next section, we're working on this area where we have some room for body text. This is going to be a text section. I'm going to add a section like this, and we're going to put what we want in here, and then we're going to come back and move it. So let me go ahead and click on this section. The background is going to be an image. So I'm going to go in the image library and choose the background. So I've got this background chosen. And from here, I'm going to add my text. So I'll add my text in here. And I'm going to make sure that my text has a background color on the block. I'm going to make sure my text area has a background color, and it's going to be white. And then I'm going to give it a good amount of padding, somewhere around 50. Nope, that's going to be too much. Let's go 30. And 30 left and right. Okay. Then this block, I'm going to give the block an equal amount of padding, top, bottom, left, and right. So now in this section, we can put some text. Here is where I'm going to place the text. And this is just filler text to demonstrate this example. Okay, there we go. So you can adjust some of the spacing and the settings on here. You could also separate the padding on here on left and right, and the left padding could be 50, or it could be 200. So that would really give us the design that we started out with here. You might want to check on your mobile design at this point, and full width on mobile might be something that you want to have on. So with a 50 left padding, that's going to look undesirable on mobile. So then on mobile, we can have it back at full width. Okay, so we have this new section, and then we have our footers still hanging out here. So finally, what we're going to do is add a final section. And in here, we will drop our footer and our social icons in the new final section. Okay, so this is all cleaned up, and we'll move on to our last design. Well, we know this is going to be kind of similar to this text, but unfortunately, this outline effect isn't something we're going to add using Klaviyo. If you want, you can add a final section, or you can keep this running in the background. It totally depends on your preference. And I can see my social icons didn't quite make it into the right section. Okay, so here we will go ahead and put this image. So I'll put the image in, browse the image library, and I'm going to go back to my original long image, and we're going to crop them on down. And then we are just about done. Missed it. Getting a little crop happy. Okay, so we can leave that, click on done, and that looks great. It looks nice and crisp, and I can duplicate it. And since we're going to put this image there, we can crop it. Start it right above those circles and drag it down to here. Click done. And now make sure those are in the right place. And so now we have this final effect with our footer here at the bottom. So at this point, you would want to make sure your links are all good the way you want them. And this is exactly how I work on my client email. Okay, so from there, you want to check your links. Make sure all of your links are going where they want. All right, so that is how you take the February template of the month and put it in your Klaviyo. Don't forget to give your template a nice name and save it. So now when you go to create a campaign, you can choose to create a campaign from a template and go ahead and use this. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial on how to take our February email design and put it into Klaviyo.